COVID-19 crisis has confirmed something, that whenever there are disruptions in the food supply chains, there will always be a deliberate and concerted effort by government to ensure that food reaches the consumer. This, of course, is because no one wants to contemplate a situation where an entire city goes without food. But suppliers too, through their resourcefulness and sheer determination, have demonstrated that they can work under very extreme conditions to get food to consumers. I will avoid calling them brokers at this point because that evokes negative connotations about their role. But what is clear is that these people are nearly indispensable when you consider the nature of the market system today. They are the grease that keeps the cogs turning, and their impact on the economy is irrefutable. But I emphasize, they're almost indispensable when you consider the nature of the market system as it is today. But I'll come back to the market system in a moment. From what we are learning, we can already predict that post-COVID-19, life in many respects is going to be very different. We can predict with certainty that some of these changes will involve how agricultural commodities are marketed and traded. I can predict with absolute certainty that there will be a proliferation of digital and e-commerce platforms, mostly buyer-centric, reaching out to both institutional buyers and consumers at the retail end with the promise of better prices, enhanced efficiency, more predictability in the supply, and probably even some level of traceability. What the market has been waiting for is demand for these services. And what COVID has done is it has forced us to rethink how we approach the whole business of shopping. And it's not just about convenience and price. People are becoming more and more concerned about their health, issues of hygiene, and their environment. So what COVID has done is it has unlocked the ingredients that enable the transition to a digital dispensation. Now, that's all good for innovators who have wanted to get into this space. The market is huge and the opportunity is massive. Financial institutions, insurance companies, tech-driven logistics companies, and suppliers of inputs will all want to plug into these systems, and it'll be boom for developers and operators of these platforms. But guess what? This will not change the plight of farmers for at least two reasons. One, that these are business people and commercial entities that are created to maximize profit. And secondly, the technologies that we're referring to here are not designed with the welfare of the farmers in mind. Now, what am I saying? So long as we have dysfunctional market systems, the rampant exploitation that has consigned thousands to lives of misery will continue, and the effects will be even more widespread. This is the reality. Now, some of you might be asking, what does a dysfunctional system look like? I will tell you. Here, a farmer invests, then they deploy all the required human resources, they bear all the risks. These are the perils of weather, airborne, soil-borne diseases, etc. But upon harvest, regardless of the cost of production, they lose control over pricing. Yet, pricing is a function of supply and demand. Now, however you describe that, that is a dysfunctional system. And this is the market system that I was referring to earlier. You must also understand that we operate in market systems that are controlled by the power of numbers. So what these platforms will be doing is collecting data from several farmers and aggregating them and creating new marketplaces where hundreds of people will come and buy, but they will do so at their price. What technology also does is it enhances efficiency, which means they can eliminate the broker and other unnecessary actors along the value chain, which inevitably brings about some savings. But this savings doesn't get shared with the farmer. In fact, This is where the money is. So is there a way out of this vicious cycle for farmers? Fortunately, there is. And this is what they will need to do. They need to build their own digital platforms. In other words, they must do exactly what these people are preparing to do. This is the only way that they can safeguard their long-term interest. And the way they will do this is through their cooperatives. That as they mobilize their farmers and aggregate the produce, they get to own the product, they own the platform, and they get to set the price. Cooperatives, of course, can agree to work together to build these platforms jointly so that they create mega marketplaces. And then there's this huge additional benefit. They get to have data. Data about the network of farmers that they're working with. Data from seed to the consumer. And you know, the most important asset any institution can have today is data. They say that data is the currency of the future. But guess what? The future is now. County governments need to support this agenda by investing in capacity building so that these cooperatives become powerful machines that can create and retain wealth at the base of the pyramid. So they say that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. But if you teach him how to sell fish, he will create wealth. My name is Paul Ondeng, and I'm team leader at Corporate Renewal Center.